Joining us on Euronews is the President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola. President, thank you very much for joining us. You've had some very severe condemnation to the Iranian regime and words of support for the people of Iran. The difference is important. How concerned are you about the situation on the ground?
Well, ever since I became president of this parliament, I have made it my mission to make sure that we stand with fights for freedoms around the world. And this is why we are appalled by what's happening in Iran, and we could not stand idly by when we see that a regime is using violence, it's using repression, it's using regression and abuse in order to clamp down on what we believe to be fundamental freedoms. In fact, these are universal freedoms, and that is why we took the step to ban Iranian diplomats and staff representing the regime from entering these premises. This has broad political support inside this house because we stand for the very opposite of what the regime stands for.
And President, the international community set a very clear red line, and that is the protest should not turn into a bloodshed. Unfortunately, it seems that is the way it's going. What can the European Union do at this point?
Well, we've stood with the protesters ever since we've started to see people gather around on the streets. We've also condemned the fact that communications have been blacked out. We've seen 4 whole days of blackouts. We're now starting to see a little bit more of messaging coming through. We welcome any attempt to help them technologically because we need to see what is happening. And as you said, these are not just protests that are being accepted and being respected. They are being clamped down upon. We've seen violence, we've seen assassinations. This is not something we will tolerate. And the Iranian community, the Iranian protesters have asked us for solidarity, for help, for messages, but not only for us to go a step further, to increase sanctions, to put the IRGC on the list of terrorists.
They should be considered now as a terrorist organization.
In a position of the European Parliament for many years now, ever since we've seen those brave women on the streets of Iran calling out for their life and their liberty and their rights and their dignity. This is why we have said that this autocracy should no longer be in power. We are calling for the Iranians to be able to see how this regime could come to an end, and we fully support them in that.
Would you like to see the capitals and the rest of European institutions moving as fast as you have done with the actions in the European Parliament and with that kind of clear language saying, yes, more sanctions, and yes, this is a terror group? Because it seems from the outside, the world is waiting to figure out whether President Trump is going to intervene militarily or not. Should the European Union wait?
I think the European Union has a golden moment in order for it to show its firmness, its strength, and also its clarity. We support freedom. This is a fundamental pillar of everything we've built our union on.
So there's no need to wait for President Trump. The EU should go from now.
Our appeal is to go now. We think that 2026 should be the year when dictatorships are over. And this is a golden moment for the European Union, for Europe, for member states, governments to say this regime, as the German Chancellor said, is on its last legs. We fully agree with it and we should go further.
And that is my final question. Do you believe now this is 2026, this is the ending of this regime? It comes to an end in 2026?
If not now, when? The people of Iran are calling for this to happen. We believe in them. We believe in all their efforts in order to see that there is a change. There is a fall of the regime. How that happens, that's not for us to say. It's for the Iranian people to determine, but we support them.
Well, President, thank you very much for joining us on Euronews.